When Adrian King, the coldest CEO in the city, stepped into the grand hall of King Enterprises, everyone felt the temperature drop. Not because he was cruel, but because he never smiled, never softened, never let anyone get close. At 31, he was the youngest and most feared billionaire, a man who built an empire from ashes after his mother's death and his father's betrayal. Love was a luxury he never allowed himself to touch, and emotions were weaknesses he buried deep until the day his grandmother collapsed, clutching her chest, and the doctors said stress and loneliness were pulling her health down. She begged Adrian for one thing: a wife, a family, someone who could take care of the home she once filled with warmth. To protect her fragile heart and to maintain the board's pressure for a stable image, Adrian agreed to a contract marriage. But he never expected her Lena Moore, a broke, ordinary girl struggling to survive in a merciless world. She wasn't his type. She wasn't anyone's idea of a billionaire's wife. She worked at a small cafe, lived in a tiny apartment, and had dreams bigger than her wallet. But she had something money couldn't buy: kindness glowing from her eyes, a stubborn strength, and a fire that didn't fear his coldness. When Adrian offered her a contract 1 year of marriage, payment enough to save her drowning debts, and the condition that emotions must never get involved, Lena laughed, thinking it was a prank. But reality was harsher than pride. Her landlord threatened eviction, her sick mother needed medicine, and no opportunity paid as much as this contract. She signed it, unaware that this signature would change both their lives. Their wedding was private, emotionless, and silent. Adrian didn't even look at her during the vows. Lena told herself she didn't care. It was business, cold, clean, and temporary, but life had other plans. The first days in the mansion were awkward. Adrian's rules were strict. Dinner at 7, no entering his office, no touching his belongings, no asking personal questions. Lena didn't break rules until she did. One night, Adrian worked late, his head pounding, shoulders tense. Lena hesitated outside the door before sneaking in and leaving a warm cup of tea beside him. She didn't say a word. The next morning, Adrian found himself looking for that cup, wondering why the warm feeling in his chest felt unfamiliar. The staff adored Lena immediately. She treated everyone like humans, not employees. She helped in the kitchen, learned everyone's names, listened to their stories. Slowly, the mansion that once echoed with loneliness began to breathe again. Adrian noticed her without meaning to. The way she tucked her hair behind her ear when nervous. The way she smiled at the flowers in the garden. The way she defended a staff member from a rude investor, fearless and fiery. The contract didn't mention how he should handle a wife who made the world feel less heavy. He tried to ignore it, but Lena's presence seeped into the cracks of his frozen heart. His grandmother, Evelyn King, noticed before he did. "Your wife is good for you, Adrian," she whispered one evening. "Don't push her away." Adrian didn't respond, but the words lingered. One afternoon, Lena tripped on the stairs while carrying tea, and the cup shattered. Adrian, hearing the noise, rushed from his office. For the first time in years, panic surged through him. "Are you hurt?" he demanded, grabbing her wrist too tightly, his voice trembling. Lena blinked, shocked that the Ice King cared. "I'm fine," she whispered. Adrian stared at her longer than he should have. Something shifted. Days passed, and small moments changed everything. Sharing breakfast, driving together in silence, accidentally brushing hands. Adrian began protecting Lena without admitting it. When a board member insulted her as just a poor charity case, Adrian slammed his fist on the table, eyes blazing. "She is my wife. Watch your tongue," rumors spread. People whispered that the cold CEO had softened. Adrian didn't deny it. But the biggest storm arrived when Lena's childhood friend, Ethan, showed up, begging her to help save the community center they grew up in. The media twisted photos of Ethan and Lena laughing, turning it into scandal. CEO's contract wife caught with another man. The board attacked Adrian, claiming Lena was ruining his image. Adrian confronted Lena, jealousy burning in his eyes, though he had no right to feel it. "Who is he to you?" he snapped. "No one," Lena said, hurt. "But at least he treats me like a person." The words stung more than bullets. Adrian wanted to apologize, but pride trapped him. That night, Lena overheard board members planning to convince Adrian to end the contract early. Hurt and unwanted, she packed her bags quietly. She left her wedding ring on the table with a note. I'm breaking the contract. You don't need a wife. And I don't need a man who feels nothing. When Adrian found the note, something inside him shattered. For the first time, the man who controlled multinational empires felt powerless. He searched everywhere, calling her name, calling her phone, but Lena disappeared. Days turned into weeks. Adrian's grandmother grew weaker, worrying about Lena. The mansion felt dead again. Adrian realized the truth he had denied. He didn't need a contract wife. He needed her. Her laugh, her kindness, her presence, her love. He didn't know if she felt the same, but he knew he had to fight. Lena, meanwhile, rented a small room and found work at a bookstore. She told herself she would forget him. Forget his eyes, his voice, his rare soft moments. But every night she felt empty. One rainy evening, as she closed the bookstore, she saw him standing there, drenched, breathless, eyes filled with emotions she never thought he had. "Lena," he whispered, voice cracking, "come home." She froze. "There is no home." Adrian stepped closer, shaking, vulnerable for the first time. "There is." "You made it. And when you left, you took it with you." A tear slipped down her cheek. "Why are you here?" His voice broke completely. "Because I love you." The world stopped. Adrian, the cold CEO, the man who feared emotions, finally opened his heart. "I love you," he repeated. "Not because of the contract, not because of expectations, but because you taught me how to feel again." Lena stared at him, her defenses melting. "You don't have to pity me," she whispered. Adrian cupped her face gently. "I don't pity you. I'm begging for you." She trembled. "And what about the contract?" Adrian smiled softly for the first time in years. "To hell with the contract. Stay because you want to. Not because you're bound." Lena hesitated, then stepped into his arms, sobbing into his chest. Adrian held her like she was the most precious thing in the world. They returned to the mansion together. His grandmother cried with joy. The staff welcomed her with open arms. Lena wasn't a contract wife anymore. She was family, and Adrian became a different man, softer, happier, more human. He still made mistakes, still got jealous, still struggled to express feelings, but now he tried. For her, their love grew like wildfire, unexpected, unstoppable, unforgettable. 1 year later, Adrian knelt before her on the same stairs where he once panicked about her fall. This time, he held a real ring. "Lena Moore King," he said, voice steady and warm. "There is no contract. No conditions, only love. Will you marry me for real?" Tears streamed down Lena's cheeks as she whispered, "Yes." The mansion erupted in celebration. The city buzzed with talk of the billionaire who finally found his heart. And as Adrian kissed his wife, he realized something he never believed in before. True love wasn't planned. It wasn't negotiated. It wasn't written on paper. It simply happened. And when it did, it was the most powerful contract of all signed not by ink, but by the heart.